Making some egg shakes. If you haven't seen the raw egg stuff, making a little bit of raw egg. Talking about Coinbase. Too. We need a lot less government in this world. A lot less government. And we need the banksters to be out of the business of manipulating money. We need the Federal Reserve gone. The most prosperous time in America's history is from 1838, Andrew Jackson abolished the Federal Reserve, to 1913. You can look at what happened there in that span of history. And a lot of amazing things happened. And then you can look at from 1913 up to 1971. And then you can look at from 1971 to now, and you can see these major changes, and it's just changes in the financial system.
About crypto as a currency, given the way the IRS treats it, potentially triggering capital gains taxes when people use it, is it really unlikely to be a currency in the U.S.? And how does it work overseas? If Messi wants to spend some of those crypto dollars, is he going to be paying capital gains taxes whenever he buys the next house or sports car?
Yeah, a great question. And in the U.S., it's there's very good clarity on Bitcoin. It's taxed as property. But going back last week, we had this infrastructure bill that was getting bobbled around D.C. And there's some potential for bad regulation out there. But we have some amazing people within Congress working with the industry.
All right, so basically, this is like mainstream media, right? Blockchain caucus, the whole thing. The Bitcoin peeps are trying to get Bitcoin as the thing. Here's the thing with blockchain in general. It's happening regardless of our regulation. More likely than not, the U.S. isn't going to play a role in it. Like the internet is in many ways is happening. Like the internet, like 3.0, like currencies, digital currencies. They were just asking, like, what if he wants to be the sports star? What if he wants to spend his money overseas? Isn't that that's the whole point of crypto? It's like it's borderless. Like capital can flow anywhere in the world in minutes. No banks, no third-party intermediaries. It can just flow. There's no bailouts, right? Like the economics can just finally work. The thing with our regulators is like they're boomers. Like these people, like the median age or the average age in the Senate, it's like over 61 years old. Like these people don't get it. Like it's not a sweet situation for the millennials in North America as they come up with their crypto regulation. In this infrastructure bill, they use the infrastructure bill, which didn't pass in the current form. They use this infrastructure bill to push this crypto legislation, basically taking the United States of America out of the crypto game. They're going to tax it. And they can do this at any point in time. And it's interesting they're talking about Coinbase, and this is why private cryptos are the whole point of crypto. I've been around crypto since 2011. My roommates would move it around for like beer and like electricity bills and like just to try it. And it was at a time where in 2011, 2012, 2013, people were trying to use it as a transfer mechanism. They weren't really treating it as a store of value. It was obvious that it was a store of value because there was only 21 million coins. Everyone knew that. But there were so many coins coming to the market, and there wasn't necessarily people coming to the market and utilizing them. So I'm not saying the price was consistent or anything like that, but the price was crypto, but it wasn't crazy. It didn't just like start to accumulate. Now, like the one thing with Bitcoin is that it's an accumulation of 21 million coins, and that's it. And most of the coins, I would say a large part of those coins have been lost. But when we saw it in 2011, we were like, dude, this is like secret money. Like this is like stuff like nobody knows anybody's got. Like this is like secret, right? Well, we would have to buy it from somebody else. There'd be a transaction there, but there wouldn't be. You go to like their bank account. There wasn't exchanges. You go to like their bank and Bank of America, whatever, you'd put money in their account. They'd send it to you, and you could mine on your laptop at this point in time. So people had a few here, there, and that. There was like market forming and price, and exactly, because you can look at a chart and see this, but it was like $30 in the springtime. It's like $3 in July. It's like $1 in August, and then it did what crypto does. And at the time, everyone's like, this is private money. Well, we find out through an individual named Ross who built a network you may be familiar with called the Silk Road. And Ross was one of these libertarian kids. He bounced around DC and mainly was a California type of programmer, really techie, smart kid. And they end up nailing Ross for creating this Silk Road thing, which I didn't know about Silk Road until the story had broke. And basically what they did is they tracked his Bitcoin, found him, and Silk Road was this place you could buy like anything on it. Like it was like black market, like drugs and all sorts of stuff would happen on the Silk Road. It was basically like an eBay, and the currency was Bitcoin. Well, they tracked these individuals, particularly Ross, and they stole his Bitcoin. Ross at this point in time, based on his Bitcoin holdings, is more than a billionaire. But he is in a 23-hour-a-day solo confinement cell as a kid. The kid was in his 20s. And it's just what the Bitcoin blockchain people don't understand is that when times get really hard and the world's reserve currency status, the US dollar, loses the world's reserve currency status, the government's going to get draconian. Like they're going to get way worse now. Like you see these mask mandates and flight attendants on, oh, put that over your nose, put that, yeah, like they're going to get they're going to get Nazi, all right? National Socialist Party, Nazi. That's what it stands for. They are freaking Nazis. And so what people don't understand is like, they'll get their tax, they've got Coinbase, they know who buys where, they can track your Bitcoin, they can go from one wallet to the next wallet to the next wallet, and if you want to use it as a currency, they can track it and tax it properly. They can figure all that out. They can figure all that out. But what they can't stop is private blockchains that have inflation component to them. Meaning a private blockchain where coins are always coming to the market, and the way that you get coins is you trade your electricity and your computing power to produce the coins and thus run the network and thus incentivize more people to run the network, so thus making the network unhackable because so many people are running it on individual laptops and cell phones and computers, not ASIC miners. Like Bitcoin is run in like Bitcoin factories, basically, like Bitcoin labs. They're ASIC miners, they're application specific software computers. Like they're ASICs. And like it's like having a marijuana grow house. Like you know where the ASICs are. Like they're sucking down a ton of energy, they're putting out a ton of heat. And if you're in an area where mining Bitcoin is legal, cool. Bitcoin will survive forever or for a long time. For a long time, it'll eventually mine out. Mine's out beyond my lifetime. But it'll mine out. And then no one knows what happens after that. These coins are just kind of like created, and they'll probably go on to another situation, kind of like in Ethereum, and they'll just bounce around. They'll be traded as units of property. But to use cryptocurrency as use cryptocurrency as money, as currency, it's helpful to have a little inflation come to the market. More people are going to come to the market than the coins that are inflating. So you're always going to have a deflationary currency, meaning you're going to have a rise of value as long as you have adaptation. But you need the network to be able to be run on individual laptops, computers, main screen, anything that's just sitting idle that can run the thing and get a share of additional pieces of coin that are created and help run the network and make the network fast. But also, there's a point where when they are taxing it like crazy, the whole point of it is to not be taxed, is to have anonymous private money. And so it has to be private at the base layer. Bitcoin is very, very public. You can look at a Bitcoin address. I do this with creators all the time. They put their Bitcoin address up there. Hey, they ask for donations. I just wonder, hey, what are they getting? How many people have donated? And I can just take the address, put it into the block finder, and just figure out exactly who and what wallets have shipped coins to them. And then I can look up those wallets and see how many coins are in those wallets. So you can map the entire thing backwards. And so something like a Monero or a Pirate Chain or even a Zcash or a Dash, mainly Monero and Pirate Chain because they're private by default, and they are the choice for what they call the dark web. Those currencies are actual real solutions because you don't need Coinbase. You can just have a computer, you can get pieces of it. If you produce a good and service, you can ask for it in exchange. And then what will happen is you'll end up with these currencies being extremely valuable because no one can get them. And so Bitcoin will always exist. It'll replace government bonds. As far as like, well, should I invest my money in a US Treasury bill getting 1.34% on a 10-year? on a 10-year treasury bill, or should I just buy Bitcoin because of the price accumulation? Like, because there's only 21 million of them, so like, let me get some. Like, and as the Bitcoin network grows, more demand for it. As people and large companies go, look, where am I going to stash cash? Like, I don't want it to inflate away. Well, you might as well stock it in these 21 million coins over here. And that's cool as a store of value. But as a currency, like as the whole point, like in 2011, when electricity bills and like beer and things like that were being paid for in Bitcoin, like to use it as another system, as a Venmo before Venmo existed, the solution must be private. Number one, digital gold is going to be private. Number one, Lightning layer my ass. If I know who has the coin, it goes from Coinbase, goes from Bank of America to Coinbase, and then Coinbase gives you your Bitcoin, and now you've got your Bitcoin. It goes into a wallet. I know that that's your wallet. Now you could say, "Oh, I paid someone from Coin." Right. Well, I know that that's associated with you, and then from there I can track it for the rest of its life in Bitcoin. Well, no, we'll just put it in a Lightning layer. We'll knock it into a wallet, and then that wallet will be part of the Lightning layer. Okay, well now I know. I can just regulate. Okay, anyone who goes to the Lightning layer and has privacy in their transactions, these things are marked bad coins. So it doesn't have fungibility. So I can tell who owned it. For example, if Edward Snowden owned your Bitcoin 50 transactions ago, at any point in time, the IRS may be like, we're going to have to take that Bitcoin from you, buddy. So it's a major issue. Now, as a store of value, yeah, it's fine. Because when people first come into crypto, they're going to go to Bitcoin. Like, oh, well, I want to get some crypto, so I bought some Bitcoin. Okay, but it's not like the real thing. Like it's Bitcoin. It's fully tracked. A lot of the coins were lost. It's super slow and clunky. Like, it's 2009 tech. And it's a great solution, but it's not currency. It's a store of value. I'd rather have that than a government bond. I have Bitcoin. I'd much rather own that than a government bond. I understand like the have that rather than physical gold and metal. I still have physicals, but like I understand that I can travel anywhere in the world. I can move it around, but also like it's tracked. Like so, if my government says travel, we're gonna tax you 60% because you're one of these Bitcoin people. Nothing I can do about it except get rid of it and change it into something that other people don't know I have, like the authorities that be. And so my options are basically Monero or Pirate Chain. And so if you're looking for an awesome opportunity and like what's going to happen with these tax laws and this and that, my speculation is on cryptocurrencies that computers can just mine at any point in time and get parts of it, trade goods and service and obtain it, and all of it's private the entire time and doesn't need an exchange. The real solution to cryptocurrency will be where a network of individuals can support the network with their electrical costs, and nobody knows who it is because you're trading your electricity costs into a computer miner, and then it's bouncing it to your wallet, and then you're trading it for goods and services. That's unstoppable. But the idea here, like where you hear boomers on Fox News talking about like, well, what about these crypto? What about these capital gains taxes? This and that. It's like, yeah, it's Bitcoin. Like, it's stuff that the kids were using in 2011. Yes, Michael Saylor's coming into the thing, like, yeah, Elon Musk showed up, and then he pumped it and he dumped it, and he sold a little, but, that's how he had to do it. He had to make some profit somewhere. Tesla doesn't make money. And so, for that type of thing, a publicly traded company to own Bitcoin and to be able to say, hey, this is on our balance sheet and you can prove it, you can look at our wallets and you can see it, cool, that totally makes sense. For IRS or audit and everything like that, totally makes sense. But for like, I'm going to trade my buddy for, an asset and then, I'm going to give him currency and it's not going to be tracked or taxed. That's the real solution. Because if you want these governments and these lockdowns, like, you have to take the power away from them. You have to change the rules on them. You have to have them shift to where their tax regime isn't on production or consumption, but rather on occupation. Okay, if you're going to be a resident of the state of Florida, we're going to tax you $5,000 a year, and that's going to pay for your roads, bridges, your schools, and maybe we'll charge you a road tax on your gasoline purchases. Maybe we'll charge you a tag fee for your cars and trucks. That makes sense. But it's an occupational tax. The state of Florida is not taxing me on my production. They are taxing me on my consumption. But when we move to a private currency, you can't tax, you lose your tax base. And so ultimately, if you lose your tax base, then you have to renegotiate terms or you cease to exist. which probably we need a combination of two. So if we want to progress forward as a world, and we want to do so in more of a peaceful manner, not have global wars over currencies, it's going to be private cryptocurrencies for the people by the people. And those options are going to be Monero, Pirate Chain. Those are going to be like you're pretty much those are going to be your top two. And there'll be others, but they're just not popular right now. And that's like the major opportunities. Like, people don't understand that private cryptocurrencies, like, they don't even get it yet. Like, when these governments get seriously desperate, they're already broke, and they start coming in and taxing for anything they can. Taxing property, taxing inheritance, taxing income, taxing everything they can. When the money printer runs out, and it just breaks, private cryptos, untracked cryptos, private physical metals, silvers and golds, like, those things are going to rip to the moon, because all of the monetary energy that for the entire economy is going to have to squeeze into those assets. Like, your choice is going to be pay 60% taxes, 30%, 40%, whatever taxes. So each unit of currency you pay that in is discounted by 30 or 40 or 50%. Or don't pay taxes and use private currencies. Therefore, the wealth transfer has to go to these private currencies. Physical cash, physical silver, physical gold, private cryptos. And those cryptos are going to need some inflation so that more coins can come to the market every single year, so that people can have access to it. Because the whole equation with cryptocurrency is a conversion from electricity into a currency into goods and services. Basically, you're using electricity as your currency, and you're trading it for your goods and services. And if you play that out in the future, it creates a game theory scenario where it's in your best interest to lower electrical costs as much as possible, so that you can obtain as many goods and services. Essentially, it does solve this climate change agenda, because you get rid of the entire fiat system, all those bank branches, all those you get rid of so much. If you're worried about emissions, you got to get rid of the financial system for sure. But you incentivize individuals to lower their electrical costs and increase their own personal computing costs as much as possible. And you're basically just incentivizing the individual to become very robust and independent, as opposed to the current individual, which is like, sit at home and the mail truck will bring you a stimmy check, and then you take that to your bank, put it in your bank, and then you can go and spend it and buy stuff. It's just a terrible idea. It's a terrible system. It's a lazy thing. That's the way it's supposed to work. That's the way it worked in 2011. It's the way it worked in 12, 13, changed around in 14. Gary Vee showed up on the scene, changed around a little bit. But that's the way these things are supposed to work, and that's the way they're probably going to work in the future. That was the original vision, and I definitely think that that's probably now even more eminent than we thought before. Now we just need them to tax, and I think they will. I think they're going to tax cryptocurrency. I mean, they're going to tax this property now. They'll tax it something later. The more successful it becomes, the more likely they're going to tax the shit out of it. And then people are going to realize things like Monero are the real Bitcoin. Peace.